Okay, this is our daily study of Pirkei Avot, the Mishnah Ethics of the Fathers, for those who have yard site for tonight, the 25th of Sivan. Samuel Dallin, Florence Droskin, Abraham Friedman, Gertrude Milovitz, Henry Schwartz, and family cease. May their memory be for a blessing. A link to the text of the Mishnah will be in the first comment below. We are starting a new chapter today, chapter 4, Mishnah 1. Ben Zoma Omer. Ben Zoma says. So Ben Zoma, the Kahati commentary points out, was not a rabbi. He's not called Rabbi Ben Zoma. He's just the son of Zoma. People are often known by their father's names, right? So one of the important lessons there is there's a number of sages in the Mishnah who never received formal rabbinic ordination, and it shows Judaism is a bit of a meritocracy. You don't need to be a rabbi necessarily. There is even one woman, only one, but still significant for such a long time ago, a woman named Bruria, the wife of Rabbi Meir, whose opinions are occasionally quoted in the Mishnah, which shows we really are, when it comes to Torah scholarship, we learn from everybody. One of the greatest sages, if not the greatest sage in the land of Israel in the 20th century, and around the middle 20th century, was known as the Chazon Ish by the title of his book. Rabbi Avraham Yeshaya Karelitz never received rabbinic ordination, but he was the greatest Torah scholar in Israel. And of course, everyone referred to him as Harav, Rabbi Karelitz. And sometimes you just get the title rabbi by being such a towering scholar, and you don't even need to have been formally ordained. But there have been a number of towering scholars throughout our history who were just so scholarly by the time everyone found out how scholarly they were, there was kind of no point in getting ordination because they're greater than anyone who would have ordained them. You have this in other fields too. Brilliant mathematicians who never went to school. You have that around the world in different fields. But it's important that Judaism recognizes that. And that's why I think Ben Zoma's first teaching is sort of fitting. I made this connection. Ezahu chacham halomed mikol adam. Who is wise? He who learns from everyone. As it is said, Shenamar mikol malamdai hiskalti. And he quotes from the book of Psalms, from all of my teachers I have gained understanding. King David says he's learned from everyone. You could learn from a person on the street, the person who at the bus stop taught you some important life lesson when you're just schmoozing with them casually. So King David understood that, and Ben Zoma is going to have this. This is one of the more famous Mishnahs in Pirkei Avot. So I think that Ben Zoma himself, right, the irony, he's not a rabbi, he's just a very wise person. And his first lesson here is, who is wise? He who learns from everyone. You have to keep an open mind. Then he says, Ezahu Gibor, who is strong, Hakovesh es Yitzro, Shenamar, Tov Erech Apayim, Migibor Moshel Brucho Miloched Ir. So, who is mighty? He who conquers his passion. Right? You suppress your temper, your evil urges. As it is said in Proverbs, he who is slow to anger is better than the mighty, and he who rules his spirit is greater than those who can conquer a city. So what's great is a lot of the sayings in Pirkei Avot actually just come directly from Tanakh, from the Bible. But the brilliance of these sages is they're systematizing things they find from all over the Bible. Psalms is King David, Proverbs is written by Solomon, his son, the wisest of all men. And they're sort of taking things they found from all over and categorizing them in an easy to remember Mishnah, and that's sort of the genius of the rabbis, right? But everything in rabbinic teaching is sort of coming on the heels of things that are already found in the Bible. Okay. So then he says, Ezahu Ashir, Hasameach Bechalko, Shenemar Yagia Kapecha Ki Sochel, Ashrecha V'Tovlach. Ashrecha B'Olam Hazeh V'Tovlach L'Olam Haba. Very important lesson for our day and age, and really all times. Who is wealthy? He who is happy with what he has. You're wealthy if you're happy with what you have. As it says in Psalms, when you eat the labor of your hands, happy shall you be, and it shall be well with you. Happy shall you be in this world, and it shall be well with you. That refers to the world to come. So let's break that down a little bit. Right, we've all seen this. It's possible to be, I've mentioned before, there's studies of people who win the lottery, and it doesn't actually make them happier. The expression more money, more problems. You could think of all sorts of expressions, but studies consistently show that being wealthy does not correlate with being happier. It is, however, important to have the minimum of what you actually do need, to have a roof over your head, to be able to eat, to be able to support your kids. So being in poverty, sadly, does usually correlate with being a little bit less happy. Not always necessarily, right? A person could always make the best of things. But from the studies that I've seen online, once you enter into, let's say, that middle class and you have what you need, there is no increase in happiness with having even more. And we know that people who have $10 million and they look at the person above them, but I'm not a billionaire. right? Human desire is sort of insatiable. So the ancient wisdom is who is happy? He who is happy with what he has. Um, and my father put it well to me once. He said, "Son, having enough money is very important in life. Having enough money for your basic needs, but having more money is the least important thing in life. Once you have enough, having extra is really not important." I think it's a very wise way to view things. And here it says, "Happy shall you be in this world, and it shall be well with you in the world to come." Not only will you be happy in this world, but you'll also get a good share in the afterlife. Why? Because when you're a person who's happy with what he has and doesn't covet, in that sense, it relates to the 10th commandment, right? Not to be jealous, not to covet. Remember, I said all these things have sources in the Bible, but it's just about categorizing them and phrasing them in a certain way. So when you covet, that leads to theft, and that leads to resentment and jealousy and being angry at other people. So not being happy with what you have leads to other sins. But when you are happy with what you have, you'll actually be a better person too, and you'll be less resentful, more grateful. You won't be tempted to steal, or even to yell at people out of jealousy or what have you. All sorts of sins come from that, and then you'll have a good share in the afterlife too. The rabbis also phrase it elsewhere: "Yesh lo mea rotze masayim." He who wins $100 now he wants 200. So human desire is insatiable, and this ancient wisdom is really quite fundamental. And then finally, Ezehu mechubad hamechabed esabrios shenemar ki mechabdai achabed uvozai kalu. It says in the book of Samuel. So First Ben Zoma says, "Who is honored? He who honors others, as it is said in Samuel, for them who honor me I will honor, and they who despise me shall be lightly esteemed." That's what God says. I honor those who honor me. And the Kahati points out there's a Kal V'chomer, there's an even more so at play here in the Mishnah, that if God honors those who honor, if even God doesn't care about his own honor, he just honors those who honor him, human beings ought to be the same way. You honor those who honor you, and that's a way of saying if you honor others, then you'll be honored. Don't go out looking for kavod, right? It's a very dangerous thing if you always want recognition and honor. When you give honor to others, it'll come to you naturally. Okay, once again, just the basic wisdom of Pirkei Avot, which we have to. The best wisdom, Rabbi Moshe Chaim Luzzatto, the author of is in 1700s Italy, the author of Mesilat Yesharim, The Path of the Just, a work of Musar, a work of Jewish ethics, said in his introduction to that book that the greatest wisdom is stuff that you really already know, that is kind of obvious and you just need to remind yourself of from time to time. But the greatest wisdom is when you hear it, you're like, yeah, that's basic, that's true. You just have to internalize it. That's the key. And that's so much of what Pirkei Avot is. Okay, with that, we will say the El Maleh. El Maleh Rachamim Shochein Bamiromim Hamitzei Menucha Nechon Al Kanfei HaShechina B'malos Kedoshim Tahorim Kezohar Harakia Mazhirim Es Nishmos Kol Haskaros Shel Halayla Shel Chuli Olamam Ba'avur Shemispalim Bad Haskaras Nishmasam V'Gan Eden Tehei Menuchasam Lachein Bal Harachmim Yastireim B'Seiser Kenafav Liolamim Yitzror B'Tzorachayim Es Nishmasam Adonai hu nachlasam yanuchu b'shalom mishkavasam and omar amen. And in English, O God full of mercy, who dwells on high, grant proper rest on the wings of the divine presence, from the lofty levels of the holy and pure, who shine like the glow of the firmament, for the souls of Samuel Dallin, Florence Troskin, Abraham Friedman, Gertrude Milovitz, Henry Schwartz, and family cease, in whose memory we study and pray. May their resting place be in the Garden of Eden. Therefore may the Master of Mercy shelter them in the shelter of his wings for eternity. May he bind their soul in the bond of life. Hashem is their heritage. May they rest in peace. And let us say Amen.